Airbikes are slowly becoming the most popular cardio equipment that people are having in their gyms and also at their homes. It started picking up more popularity, especially when it was introduced in the CrossFit Games. This was when the world saw the Rogue Echo Airbike for the first time. Now you're seeing several brands, and some people still don't know the difference between an air bike and a spin bike. So first of all, we're going to help you with that. Then we're going to introduce the comparison between the Rogue Echo Airbike compared to other air bikes. And like I said, I've got a generic bike over here at my clinic, but at home I've got the Echo bike, and I love it. Anyway, without any more spoilers, we're going to go through that as well. So hopefully you find this really useful, and we go straight into it without taking any more of your time. If you want to see more reviews of all the items that I have in my gym as well as my home gym, you can check out the videos over here. Today we're going through the Rogue Echo Airbike and comparing it to the other generic airbike that I have. Hopefully this will help you with your buying decision, but hopefully you would just enjoy this. And if you do, like, comment, share, or subscribe. Let's get started. So first things first, the quality of the airbike with Rogue is just amazing. I've heard people describe it as like a deconstructed Rogue squat rack, and they just made it into an airbike. And I'm not gonna lie, it is really high quality and it weighs quite a bit. When I first got this box, I couldn't move it. I needed my wife to help me move the box so that I could actually make it. And this alone actually had me worried because it was 65 kilos of bike moving around and in pieces. But when I was making it, it was very, very simple. You can see the colors are great, matte black finish, which matches most gyms, if not any gym. Especially if I were to take it to this work gym of mine, it would fit in perfectly. And even with the gym that I have at home, it just works great. I love it. The build of it's really solid, the finish is great, and I can imagine this lasting forever. Now compare it to my generic bike that I have. It's a little bit flimsy, it is a lot lighter and easier to move. And I've had a few concerns about this bike, but it has given me one good year so far. Saying that though, the finish of it is quite unsteady. Say if I were to go really, really hard on it, it wouldn't be able to hold me, and it is a little bit unsteady. This is because of the fact that it is very lightweight. So this is the only reason why I can think that Rogue made it heavier, so it's more durable, so you could sprint on it without feeling like you're going to fall off or break it. So that's the build quality, and that's the comparison between the two. If I were to score them, I would say that the Rogue bike would be a solid 9.5, and the generic bike that I have may be around a 7. Still good, but not great. The quality and finish of the Rogue bike is just so much more and more superior, which is why they have the name Rogue on it. So a really big one when it comes to bikes is going to be the seat. You need to make sure the seat is comfortable. I'm going to show you the Rogue bike right now and how easy it is to adjust. From going up and down and in and out. The handles are very, very clear on how to use it, and it's also very smooth. Now I wouldn't have anything else to compare it to if I didn't have this other bike, which is obviously the point of this video. Comparing the two, I know that the Rogue bike is going to last a lot longer going up and down. This is going to be so useful if we're doing, say, partner WODs or partner sprints. We can adjust the seat easily without any problems at all. The seat itself is really, really comfortable. As you can see when I'm pressing into it, that's going to be what's going to be cushioning my bum, so it's not uncomfortable to sit on this. Now I'm using my bike for several things. I'll be using it for sprints, as well as this LISS, low intense steady state, where I just want to burn some calories without putting too much stress on my body. And both of them are going to be really comfortable when I'm going to be sitting on this chair. With the LISS programs, I'll be sitting there for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, not going too hard, so my bum needs to be comfortable. But when I'm going for a full-on sprint, I want to make sure that my bum's not going to wiggle and also move the seat as well. Because of this as well, when I was making both seats, the one that I had on Rogue was just already installed. Whereas the one on my generic had to be deconstructed, reassembled, and put on, just like you would with a normal bike. And I'm not sure about you guys, but I have no experience with road bikes. So making it was actually really troublesome because it kept falling down. So I highly recommend the seat. If I was going to compare the two, I'd say that the Rogue is a 10 out of 10, and I'd put my ass on it. Now we're going to talk about the drive system on both the bikes. Now this generic one is a belt system, and as far as I know, most of them are now changing towards fan/belt systems, because I have used an older Salt bike where they were using chain-based systems. And just with chain-based systems, which you see with generic bikes that you'll see on the road, they require a lot of upkeep. That includes oiling and also replacing as well. With belt drive systems, you'll be looking at durability and endurance and making sure you don't need to actually maintain it. Saying that as well, Rogue doesn't actually say to put a maintenance schedule on it. It's always a good idea to look at it because it's your equipment, but with that being said, it makes me feel safe knowing that it's going to be okay. So both of them are belt drive systems, but both of them are also very different. As you can predict, as I'm going to tell you right now, the Rogue one is just superior. It is built to last, and you can tell as well. From when you go nice and hard into a big sprint and you stop, it stops immediately. Whereas when you're using the generic bikes, some of the people, what they call it is ghost riding, where you can just go really hard and it will still continue to go and burn some calories. This is classified as, somewhat smart riding. But I would like to say that if you want to get a good, true system to help you with your training, the Rogue Echo Airbike wins once again. If I were to compare the two, at the end of the day, it's not going to affect you too much. It's going to be a 9 on the Rogue and like an 8 on the generic. Both of them are still really good, but obviously Rogue is just that little bit better. Saying that as well, funny enough, I find that the Rogue bike is actually easier to use. It doesn't feel as hard as I first thought. When I compared it to something like the Schwinn Airdyne, that is incredibly hard. I couldn't last more than 5 minutes on that. But when I was using the Rogue bike, I found it really comfortable just to cycle at a low intense. Saying that though, I may have become accustomed to it, because when I bought this generic bike, I couldn't cycle for more than 2 minutes. It was way too hard, it was burning my legs. Now, these days, I can do 30 minutes. So maybe that's something to compare to. I might be comparing myself when I first bought this generic bike to when I first bought this Rogue bike, and that's about 2 years worth of usage of my legs getting used to cycling. So maybe this is something to take into consideration, maybe it's not, but I thought I should share that with you. So the handles on the bike are something to take into consideration too. Both of them are very, very similar in the sense of the handle shape. They don't change, they're both going outwards. But if you compare it to something like the Schwinn Airdyne, you can have handles which gives you different grips. Now, does this affect me? Not really, but I feel like with paying for something superior, you want to have those options. So that's something to take into consideration. But there's no problems with this. I think the handles are even 8 on both sides. I feel like the only difference is the sturdiness of it. Once again, the Rogue bike does tend to feel like a squat rack deconstructed, as I'll take from other people who have reviewed it. But that doesn't mean it's a good or bad thing. It's just nice to know that it won't break. But speaking of handles, I want to talk about the foot pegs. This is where something like Rogue have really called themselves the death machine. You can't rest your feet on them because it will spin. Now, I've checked up so many places to make sure this is what was going on. And I'm not sure if it's just me because I'm not great at DIY. My foot pegs also slide in and out. And I'm not sure it's because I didn't screw them in tightly. I couldn't find any research on it, but for sure the foot pegs do spin. And everyone's calling this a death machine for a reason. This is where my generic bike kind of wins. If I just want to relax and only use my arms, I can rest my feet on it without it spinning off. So I'm happy to say this one goes straight away to my generic bike. The score's a 9 and the Rogue is an 8. So this next part what we're going to cover is the computer. The computer on the Rogue bike is a lot bigger, and I'm not going to lie, it looks a little bit fancier. The one on my generic bike, well, looks generic. But I'm not going to lie, both of them work just fine. The only difference is how you can start storing information on this. And what I mean by this is storing your times for sprinting and so forth. I find it really hard on my generic because I actually don't know what I'm doing half the time. I'm pressing enter and OK, the colors don't match, and I actually don't know what I'm doing half the time, so I just cycle and I sprint. But when I'm using the Rogue bike, I feel like I actually understand how to use it with the arrows and the keys, and like I said with me, I'm a bit clueless when it comes to cardio, but it makes me want to use it because it's so clear. But for everyone else out there, I'm sure you guys are more experienced. From what I understand, the computer that's on my generic is also on the Schwinn and also the Assault bike. So maybe this is just me being picky. I'm gonna say that this is even though, just to be a little bit nicer towards both brands, both of them are a solid 8. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit of a rush to actually get this video done, and I actually forgot to calculate the scores. So we're gonna put them over here. I'm pretty confident that the Rogue bike won. But I'm not gonna lie, both bikes are very good. The only thing I'd say is if you're looking at investing for something that's gonna last a lot longer, I'd definitely go with the Rogue bike. The Rogue bike wins. I love using it. It's great for warm-ups. If I wanted to sprint on it, it actually made me encourage me to want to sprint on it. As opposed to my generic, I don't know why, there's something about it. Maybe because I actually forked out money or that little bit more and I go, hey look, kind of trying to justify my purchase. But I'm not gonna lie, if you do buy an air bike to anyone else out there, you will enjoy it. It's just a matter of how long do you want something to last. And I am at that stage now where I want to buy something premium. It's going to last a really long time, minimum at least 5 years, and I would love to get at least 10 to 15 years out of something. And I can see myself doing that with a road bike. With my generic one, I've had to replace some pieces already in less than 12 months. So that's something that I have to take into consideration. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you need any help, let me know. If you have any questions about the road bike, put them down below and I'll do my best to answer. If not, I'm sure someone in our team, in our community, will be able to help you out. Thank you so much for enjoying this video. And at the point of making this video, I'm at 189 subscribers and I'm really close to 200. So if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up on this video and also subscribe. If you want to know more about fat loss secrets as well, we're going to put the link to our free Facebook group where we post daily. Just join it. I would love to see you in there and you can join the discussion as well. Let's go everybody, let's keep building momentum.